Thank you for choosing to watch the director's commentary for Funeral for Bro. This opening scene here was actually originally much different in my first few drafts of the script. There was going to be a whole other character named Dan who was going to be an RA for this residence hall who was going to discover Zach. And Zach was actually going to be a character in the story that sort of appears as like a ghost, not really a ghost. But when I rewrote it to simplify it and I got rid of the Dan character, I had that in mind as one shot for that entire draft. This character here, who is sort of like mediating a, I want to say therapy-like session between the two of them, is actually my former boss, Ben Parker, my boss at the time that I filmed this movie. And actually the role is the director of that residence hall that they live in. And that's not sort of necessary to know, but in my mind, that's how I was writing the character. But I know many people may not be aware of that role in college residence halls, so I sort of wrote it in a way where you don't need to know that.
There wasn't an immediate response, which isn't unusual.
This little bit here that's going on between them, I think is, you know, it's a little funny, but it's also, I think, important to establishing the relationship that Gus and Brady have. They've only known each other for a brief period of time, and they're good friends in the time that they've known each other, but you know, there's still some kinks to iron out here.
Gus replies 30 minutes late, but Zach doesn't reply at all. But we're thinking, okay, he's locked in on homework, he's doing whatever. And then the same thing happened at dinner time, so we kind of started thinking, something's up. And that's when we went to go check on him, and cardiac arrest.
This moment was actually originally different, the way that it was written and shot. Brady was going to say sudden cardiac arrest in the first time he said it instead of just cardiac arrest, but I ended up removing the sudden the first time he says it, so that I think the joke plays a little bit better when Gus is like, no, that's not what he said, because it's like it sort of shows he's being really like nitpicky about it.
He's known him way longer than I did.
Actually, do you know when the funeral is? What the plans for that are?
I do not. Did you know his parents at all, and we can maybe reach out to them?
No can do. Bro didn't have parents. They died when he was young, and he lived with his aunt for a while, and then...
This was really just written to sort of yada yada away why these college students are having to plan a funeral.
Sorry, rough. Shoot.
It's okay.
It looks like there was no next of kin that...
By the way, this shot, and actually the shot of the diffuser in the previous scene, were shot on my iPhone using the Blackmagic camera app. They were very late last-minute additions to sort of bridge the continuity there. The reason why the establishing shot in that building was created was because there was originally a much longer phone call that had to be cut for time, just because it was really dragging down the pacing too earlier on in the movie. But it's a really great scene with an actor named Tyler Hepler.
We're 18.
You want me to release a dead body to a...
The judge character was also not originally in my first few drafts of the script, but I realized that I needed sort of a character to drive their goal forward, like what they're actually trying to accomplish by planning this funeral.
Got yourself a body.
Yeah, we can do that.
Also played by my dad, Scott Iverson, this judge here. And we filmed this in an actual judge's chambers, the Tippecanoe County Courthouse. Very nice to let us use it.
Have enough?
Judge, we got you.
This party scene was actually, for the most part, filmed one floor below where I lived in my residence hall. My dorm room actually was the door that you see at the very beginning of the movie, so we made a lot of use of Carry Quad at Purdue.
How was this the best way to make money?
Have you seen the Cybertrucks on campus?
Yeah.
Everyone that owns one is here.
Those are Menards buckets, a little Midwest hardware store reference. Nathan is really great in this scene. I mean, he just gives like the best non-verbal performances in this entire movie, I think. I mean, he's really, really great at that. He did much more of like the awkward dancing that just had to be cut for pacing, but he did such a great job. Isabelle here also does such a great job in this scene. They really bounce off of each other so well in this interaction.
Just the way you were looking at those guys. I wouldn't blame you.
Oh, no, I'm not gay. This music in the scene and all the music in the movie actually is created by Ian Noakes, who I also worked with on my previous film, The Most Valuable Thing. He had a lot of fun with the soundtrack, I think.
Maybe you should be taking this opportunity to flirt with a girl or two.
I love that laugh that Nathan does there. He only did that one take and I knew I had to use it. I ended up using 2 different takes of him going like, yeah, no, in like different angles, just to like sort of prolong it and make it seem more awkward. But it wasn't written that way. Rob and Neil here are played by my friends Marth and Neil. I love that bit where Neil just has the bucket on his head when he cut back to this scene. It's like they brought these buckets and then they realized, oh yeah, we just have to collect cash virtually because that's how everyone does it now. So the buckets are pointless.
You're a creative writing major?
Yeah, I know it's not as hard as bioengineering and all.
No.
I love the praising of creative writing here because I was a creative writing major as well. So I sort of just wrote that in here so they would have to praise me. Oh yeah, all of the purple lighting, by the way, was just done in post. Had a lot of fun figuring out that environment.
Who let you in here?
I thought.
Who?
That frat bro there was played by my friend Eric. Love that shot. Love a lot of the party shots in general. And in this scene afterward, I think it's the most cinematic part of the movie.
Hey, what was that back there?
They didn't want us there.
Yeah, no shit.
Yeah, look at that
You
bokeh.
said we were invited.
I said they needed to hit their charity quota, which they do.
The director of photography for this movie was Anya Kumar. I actually shot this scene myself, though, because she was not available that day.
It's fine, Gus. You know, we tried our best, and it didn't work, and that's okay.
What you gonna quit? We just got started.
I'm sorry.
This was actually the first scene that we shot, and the party scene before this was the very last scene that we shot. So I think that's really sort of a fun bookend, how it's back-to-back like that. But you could never tell. I love it. Also, this music, I gave Ian the main theme from Castaway as inspiration because I love how the music sort of doesn't come in until halfway in that movie, and it's sort of the same thing here, as there's sort of like a more dramatic shift in that moment.
Wait until lunch.
I am not gonna let you give up on this.
Okay. Casket, venue, burial site. Johnson said we needed all.
So a lot was cut from this scene that you're about to see.
We needed a casket.
No.
Yeah, from this moment onward, there was a lot more. Originally, you're going to see Gus pull the trash can over to himself in front of him in a shot. Yeah, there's actually a trash can out of frame below him there that you can't see. But the way that I ended up cutting it in the final cut, it's like he's just pouring it on the floor, which is much funnier. And then there's some dialogue coming up that was cut. Originally, it was going to deal more with the venue that they were going to have the funeral at, but it really was all just to set up a joke that as I was editing it, it really didn't end up landing, so it was cut.
Well, then I'm sorry to tell you, your friend's bail is denied.
No, Zach wasn't. We're the ones planning the funeral.
Oh, I remember you two.
Yeah, so look, we have a church for the funeral and we have an urn for the ashes. All we need is the money for the cremation. We were wondering.
Now, I'm going to stop you right there. I think what you boys are doing is great, genuinely. But I personally can't be helping everyone who comes to my desk. I wish you both the best in life, but that's all I can do. Now get out.
He improvised that line at the end there. I love how he delivered that. This scene around sunset was really difficult to get right lighting-wise, not just on the day, but then in post-production to sort of make the lighting consistent between shots. It's not perfect, but I think the shots are beautiful regardless.
It's fine.
This is one of the few handheld shots in the entire film, and originally there were going to be more shots in this scene, and
I mean, what the hell is this
I realized
problem
it was
anyway?
better on the day of just to
God forbid.
let sort of
a
the
couple of
raw
friends
emotion of the scene
try
breathe through
to
this one
celebrate the life
handheld
of the
shot.
coolest dude to ever live. Look, we don't
We don't need his body. I mean,
And I love how Anya keeps the primary focus of the frame on Gus. He's sort of along that left thirds line, and then Brady is still very much present in the scene too, though. And then the music coming in here, the great music by Ian Noakes.
With sadness,
You can
we
kind of
announce
see how the shadows don't
the
perfectly
death of
match
Zach
there.
Blessing.
This was a shot that was originally going to be, these two shots here with Gus were originally going to be used earlier during the scene in Brady's room, where it was going to cover like the setup for how they get the location. But I repurposed it for the montage because I thought it was still a great moment to use. There's Ian Noakes, actually, that last one there.
dude, this is a wedding song.
It's fine. You're probably the only one that knows that anyways.
Yeah, so this guy here was actually originally going to sort of be the punchline of the joke I was talking about, where Gus was going to put up a flyer for their funeral over another flyer, and the older gentleman there who attends the funeral, actually played by one of my former professors, Christian Butsky, he was going to be a funeral attendee attending the other funeral that was originally supposed to be held at that time. But when I did test screenings, I realized the joke was probably just too complicated and it wasn't really landing for people. So I cut that out from the earlier scene and I reworked it so he's just a random guy who happens to show up to Zach's funeral. I didn't want to cut him entirely because the reaction shots that are coming up throughout this scene are honestly gold, some of them.
Hello, how's everybody doing today? Oh, come on. How's everybody doing today?
All the extras here were so great to work with. A lot of them the same ones that were at the party.
There we go. That's better.
This was filmed the day before the party, actually. And we got to film in an actual Methodist church near Purdue. They were very generous to let us use it for free.
You were in for a good time. It's down for anything. I mean, we smoked our first joint.
There was actually I love that reaction shot. There was actually a birthday party going on at this church at the same time we were filming in it. So it was really funny. There's that glass in the back of the sanctuary, and during some of the shots we'd have to hold while party attendees are walking by.
Better. And I don't want to put everybody in a bad mood. I mean, why the hell would Zach want that at his funeral?
This was a really difficult thing to get right, where we want it to feel like a natural transition from Gus being the happy-go-lucky, carefree guy he is to really, for the first time, starting to feel the weight of his friend's passing. And cutting to this medium close-up from the wider shot was an important part of conveying that. Originally, we tried to do a push-in. We didn't have an actual dolly to do it, and we tried to do it with an office chair. It really didn't end up working out. So this was a good substitute, I think. And, I mean, you know, Alexander DePriest's performance here just really, I think, sells the emotion.
Oh, man.
Okay, it's fine. Wait, please.
Anya did a great job with the cinematography in this scene, of course, too. I love that moment. They sort of came up with that on the day of, where Gus tries to dap Brady up, even though he's sad, because he's still a little bit in denial, I think.
Hey, everyone. Zach was everything that Gus already said.
Nathan does such a good job, such a subtle performance with this part. You see his confidence building in the scene, but not in an unrealistic way. He's still very much the same reserved character, but he's got a little bit more oomph in him by the end of this scene at this moment. He portrays it so well. Yeah, those extras have such great reaction shots.
It's inevitable that we all eventually come to the same fate. But I think it's important to not overthink the opportunities that are presented to us right in front of our faces. Just don't be like my underthinking friend over here.
And I think that joke is important because it shows the amount his confidence has grown, that he's able to joke now like Gus.
Did I miss it?
And then there's a cameo by me, of course. You know, actors would ask me throughout the shoot, can I improvise an F-bomb here? And I would say no, and the reason was I thought it was really important to that joke landing as good as it could at the end there. I thought the joke would land best if nobody else said an F-bomb throughout the movie. It's just this one guy, randomly this well-dressed gentleman who comes in wearing a full suit. He's the one to say it. I really love it when credits are integrated into the film like this, because this is very much, I would say, an important shot of the film. I mean, it establishes a new friendship trio grouping after, you know, the one that we sort of start the movie with is destroyed. So in a way, we're starting the movie in a similar but different place than it ended. Thank you for watching the director's commentary. I hope you enjoyed.